Hi friends, welcome to Introducing. My name is Irina and I work at the National Portrait Gallery, where we share the stories of people who have helped shape the United States. Each week for Introducing, we shine a light on some of this country's history makers and their portraits. Just like reading a book, looking at a portrait can tell a story too. This week, we are going to look at this portrait of these three men by Ronald Anderson. The three men in this portrait are looking forward, right at us, the viewer, and they are smiling. Do you think they look happy or excited in this portrait? Let's talk about what the men are wearing. They are wearing a uniform of sorts. They're all dressed alike in white, puffy spacesuits that have a large opening at the neck. We can even see an American flag on one of their shoulders. What profession or job do you think these men might have? They're astronauts. Their names are Neil Armstrong, Edwin or Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. And they are all astronauts who worked for NASA. NASA is the organization in charge of rockets and spaceflight. Before July 1969, which was 52 years ago, no man had ever been on the moon. These three astronauts were on a mission to become the first humans to ever land on the moon. Can you see the moon in the background of this portrait? The surface is kind of brownish, and to me, it looks like it's covered in holes. This mission that these men were on was called Apollo 11. Apollo 11 was the name of the NASA spaceflight that carried Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins to the moon. Can you see this patch on this portrait? It's right here. It says Apollo 11, and on it, you can see a bald eagle landing on the moon with the Earth in the background. Just like you can see the Earth in the background of this portrait. Each astronaut on Apollo 11 had a job. Neil Armstrong was the mission commander. Buzz Aldrin was the Lunar Module pilot, and Michael Collins was the command module pilot. The background of this portrait tells the story of the astronauts' journey to the moon. The spacecraft that they used to get to the moon is pictured here, taking off. What do you think it might have sounded like as the spacecraft took off? Do you think it would have been quiet or loud? Around the world, people were very excited to see these astronauts make history. Apollo 11 was launched from a station launch pad in Florida, and around 600 million people watched on their television screens as the spacecraft approached the moon. The Lunar Module, meaning lunar, meaning the moon, and module, meaning the craft that carried the astronauts, detached from the rest of the spacecraft, and it landed on the moon 76 hours after it had taken off. Can you see the Lunar Module in this portrait? It's right here. Neil Armstrong was the first astronaut to step out of the Lunar Module and on to the moon. And as he did, he said the now famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." What do you think it might have felt like to step out onto the moon? Can you pretend to walk on the moon's surface? While on the moon, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin collected samples of the moon's surface to bring back home to Earth to study. And of course, they took some pictures. After almost a full Earth day on the moon, about 21 hours, the 3 astronauts headed back to the Earth. Can you see them landing here via parachutes into the water? History had been made. And this month, July, we celebrate the lunar landing that made history. Would you ever fly to the moon? Friends, thank you so much for listening to Introducing today, and we hope to see you right back here next week for another one. Bye!